Good day and good evening, my guys, gals, and non-binary pals. Welcome to another exciting episode of Gaming Nest News. Joker's out this week, unfortunately, and I just got a new webcam, so broadcast manager Richard is instead going to be handling the show. We've got a new proper news segment coming up this week, and hopefully in the future as well. We'll see how this goes. But first, I'm going to take you on a short journey through 5 really short game reviews for games that I really enjoyed. Let's take a look. Ding dong, the docking dock is dead.
This is not the kind of team to rush. Oh, wait. One just dropped hatch.
Recently, in a Discord for fans of Tim Rogers' action button video game reviews, one member took a massive poll of many individuals for the top 50 most definitive Goblin Bunker games. These games nominated are indicative and representative of the general styles and sensibilities of the Discord server as a whole, and are very much suggestions of very important games that people should play. And it should surprise nobody that the games I voted for mostly didn't make the list. In some form of personal vindication, I guess, I myself will review my games and spotlight them in my own way. So, let's get started. Doom Eternal is peak Doom. Taking the fast-paced, high-skill ceiling nature of the franchise and turning it up to a deliciously arcadey 11, Doom Eternal perfects the brutal difficulty and level designs introduced to us in Doom 2016. If you're not moving and assessing the next major target to hit, you are not playing Doom Eternal right. One thing I specifically wanted to highlight that sets this game apart from its predecessors is the weak point system, wherein you shoot an enemy in a part of its model that can be destroyed to limit its mobility and attack options. This is a fantastic option and addition that takes the threat assessment to the next level, and even lets you turn major threats into something much more manageable while you focus on the next most important monster. Doom Eternal is part Twitch shooter, part platformer, part action game, and part strategy game now, and the balance is tweaked so tightly on the higher difficulties that it's on the player to perform or die. Hope you're using a mouse on Nightmare, because you'll need it. The Resident Evil 2 remake is a masterclass on how to take a beloved game from your childhood and make it into something fresh and original, while still keeping its tone and themes intact. Gone are the fixed camera angles and the inability to move while shooting seen in past games. This takes the cues we love about Resident Evil 4 and also brings those points to the modern era. The first playthrough of Resident Evil 2 Remake is as tense and dripping with atmosphere as the original was through its total runtime, and subsequent playthroughs a speedrunner's paradise. The delicate balance between modern third-person action and horror is a thin tightrope act that the Resident Evil 2 Remake crosses with superb dexterity. And even a skilled runner can be just as surprised by a zombie as a newcomer if the proper attention is not paid to the environment. I would know because it happens to me. And of course, the crown jewel of it all is the relentless and almost claustrophobic chase section with Mr. X, which absolutely still puts me on edge every time I run through the game. If more classic and beloved PS1 era games were remade in this style and this same level of love and care, we would have some of the best games of all time, hands down. Prey 2017 might not have been what die-hard fans waiting for the bounty hunter and open-world gameplay of the initial showing of Prey 2 would have been, but for what it's worth, it never had to be that. Arcane Studios are masters of the modern immersive sim, and for this futuristic foray into a world in which JFK's head just never did that, Arcane did a bang-up job of world building, immersion, and environmental storytelling. It's a truly open sandbox and has a high level of mechanical possibility and interacting functions not quite seen in other equivalent immersive sims, and that kept me coming back for more and more playthroughs. And as an addition, it has a roguelike DLC, which is basically all I could ever want as a standalone arcadey version of this game. Plus, you could turn into a coffee mug. 10 out of 10. Would play again. I'm not exactly sure what more I could say about The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild that publications haven't said already, but for its focus on interesting and emergent gameplay, interactive systems, and a world that offers a real sense of adventure, ensuring no two journeys go exactly the same way, I'm really not sure what more needs to be said. It's one of the most relaxing and positive exploration game experiences that I have ever had. And the bunker even agreed with me by putting it in their top 10. If for some reason you haven't made time to explore this era of Hyrule, I highly suggest picking up a Switch and doing so. It's helped change the way I think about how parts of a game's world should interact, in no small way. And finally, rounding out my own list is, of course, Rainbow Six Siege. Who saw this one coming? Not even making it onto the honorable mentions list is a sad blow to my ego that I will still take on the chin. I chose Siege, even if it's not popular with this bunker at all, for its reliance on teamwork, map knowledge, communication, and personal growth ability and external experience, rather than giving you in-game experience and better gear and more health as you level up, as seen in other competitive shooters and RPGs and the like. It's all about you and your skill, and it's balanced in that way. Sure, there are some operators objectively better than others and have a higher pick rate, but it's just about how and where you place your gadgets and how well you communicate with your teams. It's a thinking man's shooter, played best with some good friends, and as we already know, I couldn't have survived 2020 without it, so it's high up on my own list. And so, in that way, does it really matter exactly what is on any best games list that any others put out? Absolutely not. It's all about your tastes and your journey that games help guide you through. Everybody should play Rainbow Six Siege, though. I'm making that one mandatory if you watch this. So now that I've gotten my personal list out of the way, I want to try something for the future. In the coming weeks, I want to do this short review series like I did here, but I want to highlight the nominated games on the bunker list and do a small write-up for them. If it takes me a while to play 50 of what can be considered to be some of the best games of all time suggested by friends, then I definitely think that's going to be some time well spent. See you on the other side, and I hope I have 30 hours plus to play Dragon Quest XI. Oh god. So I hope to keep doing some game reviews like that as time goes on. It's great practice for my writing, and I get to play some really fantastic games as well. But if you have a review or something you'd like to highlight, you can send us a link at info@nesthq.online. That is info@nesthq.online. We'll take a look, and if it's good, we'll put it on air. We are looking for segments and some additional correspondence, so please don't hesitate. And speaking of additional correspondence, we have a news guest anchor, Wilden, who's going to be having a chat with our commish for a couple stories that could lead to an interesting 2021. Guys, let's hear what you got to say.
Howdy, y'all. It's Wilden. Welcome to Gaming Nest News, the place to get your latest, greatest in gaming news. We have two stories for you on this episode. Number one, G4 is coming back. Yes, that's right. If you haven't heard, G4 is returning. They've started with their B4 G4 campaign, and they have recently announced the first host officially that will be part of the relaunch of the G4 network. You're getting Avali and Frost, who are two hosts that have worked in esports and broadcasting, and they're going to be hopping with the Bleep Esports show. And then you have two returning hosts, which are Adam Sessler and Kevin Pereira, which respectively, Adam Sessler hosted X Play, which he will now do as well. And Kevin Pereira was a host on Tactics Show. He's also now doing that. Both of these originals are coming together to bring two original shows back, and there's a brand new show with the Bleep Esports show that's also coming back. Now, both of all these channels have started creating content already on their YouTubes. In fact, they've created YouTube channels separately for each show already. We're adding little skits and little blurbs here and there. Adam's been on the X Play one, Kevin's done one for Attack the Show, and Avali and Frost have done 2 episodes of the esports show, kind of like little tryout things. So I wanted to ask, I am joined here, the commish David, to talk about what's happening with this new G4 lineup. David, what are your thoughts on just on G4 returning, but the direction they're going by bringing original hosts back, and as well as like mix up some new ones and bringing in the esports element, which is something they didn't really have with the original G4.
It's very interesting with G4 because G4 I know was going through this whole like transitional program of, it used to be tech, and they had a lot of, they're prominently known as the tech channel basically, but then they sort of switched into kind of this, and this was their aim, I guess, was a metrosexual audience, as I've seen it put. Metrosexual being kind of more men that take care of their appearance and, maybe moisturize their face, things like that. But totally, completely different direction from actual like tech. That being said, I have seen a lot of people really hoping for a channel that is focused on esports in a more professional capacity and not just having one single personality that's streaming for, let's say, 9-10 hours or anything like that. So looking at it, I know that there's some people that are probably expecting the nostalgia, but I don't know if that's going to be enough to hold up an entire channel just on nostalgia alone. There is a lot that they're going to basically have to kind of update themselves on. I mean, it's kind of like how even the audience for Facebook, a lot of people keep saying, it's for boomers and whatnot. And most young kids are on like TikTok, and they have attention span of however many seconds, 7-15 seconds, which they're more used to. So I don't know if it'll hold for what they are trying to do. Obviously, even with productions like that, usually they have studios, and those are very expensive. Like, they actually are multi-million-dollar operations, camera operators. I don't know if they're going to try and do it from their home and try to compete with the regular streamers, but it is interesting to see the host back. It's interesting to see the revival. I don't know though if it's maybe a little bit too little too late, kind of like, almost a BlackBerry scenario, trying to kind of keep the old without updating it. So unless I see something that's really changed from the past, I don't know. I really don't.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It's going to be very interesting. We're not sure where it's going. They still haven't been fully clear as far as where they're putting their content. You can only kind of assume it seems like they're going to be putting stuff on television again, which is where a lot of the original content was, and YouTube, and they know Twitch is a thing now, so they might spread it out a bunch of different places. But it's going to be very interesting to see how much old content comes back, how much new content comes back, and where they go. And the brand relaunch in general is supposed to be happening this summer, so assuming we're going to get a date for that soon. In the meantime, though, let's jump into another very interesting big news story. If you vaguely pay attention to gaming industry, you might have heard of E3, which is Electronic Entertainment Expo. And for many, many years, E3 has been like a central hub, a very important event for the gaming industry, where all the big companies, Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, for examples, would all come together, show off their newest consoles, newest games, exhibit floor, It was oriented for industry insiders and business and media, and then over the years they kind of try to be more consumer friendly. Well, now this year with the pandemic, they announced uh, well, it's unofficially confirmed, but it seems mostly confirmed. This is actually a credit to the Video Games Chronicle. That managed to get some insights. Apparently, documents have been kind of sent out in email form to publishers, hinting that hey, E3, we're going fully digital this year. As you might have known from last year, they mentioned about going digital last year of E3 because of pandemic, but it was kind of a little bit at the last minute and a little too late, and they never really did anything to make content out of it or anything like that. They just kind of like veered off and backed off. But this time they want to fully get into it. Supposedly through these statements, they seem to be finding people to do conferences, like stick with the traditional like 2-hour press conferences. They want to have like game demos sent out to like media and press, like virtually over the internet, and maybe get demos out to consumers of certain little ones of sorts. But the real question in here, and I'm really curious about this, David, because you're a big business guy here. The big question is like who's going to want to do this? Because other things to consider is supposedly they are still asking for the price that you would pay to do a conference at the event, like at the actual event. Like they're still apparently seem to be like charging like thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars just to even get a slot at this E3 event. So I don't know how much, David, you've seen of the industry as far as doing their own digital events recently, but that was a big thing last year, and it seems like this year they're really ramping up with that. With like Ubisoft their own events, maybe Square Enix might do their own events. Sony's been doing their own things. Nintendo's doing their own things. Do you think with E3 happening this year, like people are going to even want to really be a part of it, or is this a little bit like kind of too little, too late sort of thing, and E3 is gonna really have an uphill battle?
We're definitely trending on very similar topics, it seems today. E3 is interesting because obviously it is supposed to be like an Explorer conference. I know that Jeff Knightley, I believe it is, had
Jeff Keighley.
Keeley, sorry,
Mhm.
basically quit because he just didn't like it not evolving. You have, as you even mentioned there, like a lot of the publishers and everything don't want to attend E3. And these publishers are massive. These are multi-billion-dollar corporations that can run their own events if they really want to, and have kind of their brand concentrated into their own events if they wanted to. And then, of course, you have the everything that's going on in the world, and they don't want to basically do the events for that reason. But I think like I've seen a few places try to do this digital event. Now, I don't have any stats on how well they're doing. What I can do is, what I probably will do is actually look into a company here that tried doing something, see how well they actually did. They're publicly listed. So, but
Mhm.
the thing is, when you have these expos and conferences, you go there for the experience and you go there for the atmosphere, and you're going there for the free stuff and the little stuff you can buy as well. I don't know if people are going to get that experience from going on a digital platform and, just sitting at home, because nobody wants to be at home to begin with, and let alone being at home having to basically look at one of the, an event that used to be so world renowned, and just having to
That's
sit
true.
there watching basically trailers probably all day. And I mean, there might be some interactive elements, but it's very hard to do that. And especially with a huge audience, you're not going to have like individuals really enjoy that. And sometimes you don't want to look at it. Maybe you don't like Activision games, or you don't like Sony games, or you don't like Nintendo games, or you just hate PC everything. It doesn't really particularly matter, but you might be stuck having to watch that. So I don't know if these kind of events can evolve. And Nest has done or planned some of these events before in the past, and they're logistical nightmares to begin with, let alone doing it online. I don't want to imagine what it's like having to organize people online, having to worry about internet connection, because, the worst
Right.
that could happen to your venue is the power goes out. Versus here, if the power goes out, well, your entire conference is absolutely dead. There's nothing for anybody to do. They can't watch anything. I know they're going to bring out a lot of star power most likely, but again, it's not the same thing. I'm sure people will watch it, but at the end of the day, E3 was trying to evolve, I think, more for the actual in-person events, not for digital events. So we'll have to see kind of what's going to happen with that. And if people are going to respond well to it in today's age.
Yeah, well said. That's a fair point you make up. It's one thing now because people are used to watching trailers, a lot of content online, so they are kind of used to that. But you're right, the experience of physically like being in there and being there and waiting in line and then playing the game demo. Do you get that experience doing that virtually? I don't know. I don't know if it would be the same. And it'll be curious to see, like with all these other events, how E3 does about it. It seems like even like the talk of E3 in general right now just kind of died down because they don't have the physical event. I think maybe, hopefully they'll get through this and then next year they'll have the physical event and maybe reboot it in sort of way to get the industry back, that the ESC could get under the industry's good graces in a sense. And yeah, it'll be exciting to see, guys. So we're going to be all sure to tune in and see what's going on in their development with G4 and E3. A lot of digital stuff happened, a lot of things returning, a lot of things changing, and it's be very interesting to see where we go from here. In the meantime, guys, this is the Gaming Nest News, and I'm Wilden. And if you like this conversation, I actually do another podcast as well called the Geeks About Gaming Podcast, where my co-hosts and Kendall and I talk more in depth about the gaming news that's going on each week. We talk about topics like this. We actually just recently did our podcast talking about G4 and Vin, as a matter of fact, and what's the deal going on with there. So be sure to check that out. And in the meantime, guys, thank you again to the commish, David, for hanging out with me, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Thank you so much, guys. That was great. I'm sure whatever happens with E3 2021 will not lead to an increase in the spread of the coronavirus. Hopefully. Now, just for some more new and pertinent news, Nintendo just did a reveal for a new Smash character as part of their Nintendo Direct today. Okay, so I'm cutting in from the past. I have very low hopes for whatever Smash character is actually going to get announced. I've been disappointed for the entirety of this Fighter's Pass. Min Min was interested. His moveset's fine. I just don't care for him. And Sephiroth, I don't like Final Fantasy VII. I don't like it as the brand. I don't like the hype behind it. I can't just keep seeing the same kind of stuff over and over. So I'm really curious to see exactly what they're doing for this one. I have a couple hopes. I have a couple thoughts. I want it to be somebody from Devil May Cry so badly. I want Nero or I want Dante. I'll take Virgil. I thought it was going to be Virgil when Sephiroth came out. I really, really, really just want to see somebody interesting to me. Wonder Red, a Bayonetta clone where you're playing as Jean. Literally anything that I care about. Because at this point, I haven't picked up Smash since the end of the last Fighter's Pass. And none of the new fighters are even close to really interesting me. So, we're going to see what this reveal does. And if it's something really good, that'll be awesome. But if it's something really bad, it could make for good content. Okay, just right out the gate, please. Xenoblade.
One day, Pyra just disappeared. couldn't find her anywhere.
If this is how the Smash reveal's gonna go...
It was as if she vanished off the face of Allrest.
Uh-huh.
Without a trace. Where have you gone? I'll find you, whatever it takes. This is where you were. Pyra!
Sorry, Rex.
Was that Final
I
Destination?
couldn't tell you. Because... I got an invitation to
Yeah.
Smash!
Alright, okay, fine. Whatever. Okay, alright, yeah.
Oh, I thought I was gonna be in Smash.
You're already in Smash.
Back and leave it to me, Rex. Behold the power of the Aegis!
Another Xenoblade character. Another sword character. Okay.
You powered up your Smash attack with fire?
Flame Nova! Prominent Revolt! Blazing End!
That's genius! You're pretty much owning them, and these are seasoned fighters!
There are no pushovers!
Okay. That's fine.
Talk about a tight spot.
Oh, then you get your dodge.
Let me handle this.
Oh. Oh. Oh, that's like Zelda. That's like how Zelda used to be.
Mithra!
Cutting it close, huh? Hey, were these guys planning on winning? Gee, I feel kind of bad now.
Well, this is a clone
Coming
fighter.
through. Lightning Buster! Photon Ray of Punishment! Chromazine! Foresight!
What? You can even use that?
Right here!
Yeah.
You
Okay.
two can swap between
Okay.
it.
All right. Okay.
Serious
I'm in.
firepower and blinding speed. Together, nothing can stand our way!
That's pretty cool. Okay, they're bringing back the idea of Zelda from Brawl before they separated the two characters in Smash 4. I don't care for Xenoblade. Like, it's a fine. It's just not a series I'm interested in. But like, I'd rather this than another Fire Emblem or something else. Like, out of nowhere.
Nailed it!
Sure did! Witness our power!
And we have Shulk. It's fine.
Never expected to see you two again.
It makes sense. It's fine. I'm okay with it. It's not.
Now that you're in Smash, I won't go easy on you.
It's not Dante,
Ooh, fighting words.
but it is at least a Nintendo character and not a weird guest that's from something I've never heard of or something that I don't care about. Like this is something I don't care for regardless, but it's more acceptable to me, I guess. That's alright. Okay. I'm not mad. Especially since it's got like the dual fighter thing worked into it. They have different properties or whatever. That could be neat. That could be actually really neat. I don't know if it's going to be enough to actually hold my interest for Smash and get me to play again, but it could be something. It could be something. It's more than nothing, and I can at least be happy about that. All right. Well, back to the show. As we've said before, if you have a review or something you'd like to highlight, you can send us a link to info@nesthq.online. That is info@nesthq.online. We'll take a look, and if it's good, again, we will put it on air. We're looking for some segments and correspondence, so please send things over. You can see clips like this one right here.
And you did get the fusion this time, Richard.
Thank God.
Okay, they are workshop. Or sorry, the first room that we played.
Hi, Capcan. Hi, Ella.
So there's an outside wall we can open on this point.
There is.
As
It's
well.
here.
It's on the southwest side.
Customs, yeah.
Jaeger.
Southwest, yeah.
Which is Valley Spawn. Or
Fuck,
Valley
fuck.
Spawn? Yeah, it's Valley
What?
Spawn.
I'm not gonna go there.
Let's go for
I'm
the
going
same
from west
position.
side.
In 10 seconds.
Last one's Valkyrie.
Insertion in 5 seconds.
I just don't want to hard pin her because I don't want to give my drone away.
You found a bomb. Make your way to its location and defuse
Watch
it.
for spawn peaks, as always.
Richard the cameraman. That window's open.
C4 gone. I really thought I was gonna stick the hole for some reason.
Did you open it already? Okay.
Oh, it's open. Okay, I'm gonna drone it.
Drone up. Torch is hot.
Richard, be careful with the diffuser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, the actual room is clear.
Near me, or Thomas. Lester Ash.
Hang on, I'm gonna check A site. Oh, one on that ping behind the boxes on A site.
Okay.
I'm gonna push this and then I'm gonna go. Rich, you want to come in here and plant? Can you plant here? No, probably not.
No, no, only drop.
Can I run across?
There's one hard left.
4 remaining.
Okay, Richard, plant. I'll cover. The walls are all soft, so be cautious of that. But otherwise,
Diffuser is active. Exit at all costs.
it's okay. She's out of time and she doesn't have a C4 anymore. Just watch from the window and you got it. Easy.
Nice. I had a claymore on there too.
Eliminated. Friendly mission successful.
And that's going to be it for Gaming Nest News this week. Thank you so much to David, to Wilden. Hopefully we'll be seeing more of him in the future. And of course to me, Richard, for getting this show on the road. Follow our social media channels listed in the side corners for any updates on any more broadcasts or tournaments. And remember to send us stuff at info@nesthq.online if you think it's going to knock our socks off. And with that, I will say goodnight and pleasant gaming to you all. Richard out.